Speaking of events, happy Pride Week, everybody. Yeah. So today is the end of the sort of official Pride Week. However, in Austin, Austin Pride is actually the last Saturday in August. I don't know why they picked the hottest month of the year to have
So there'd be more
Pride.
Mostly naked people.
Yes. Well, as Dan Savage says, we pay a high price in melted drag queens when we have our Pride in that kind of weather. But it's always a fun time, and the ACA, as usual, will have a booth at Pride. So come by Austin Pride and see us. We'll be there all day. And I think Phil's going to have beads again and probably some other stuff to give away. So
I'm not sure if I'm in town, but if I am in town that weekend, I will be down there too, because we always have a good time at Pride.
And there's almost always some protesters there that, you know, they have their signs, homosex is sin, stuff like that. And invariably, Russell will go out and talk to them. And so we'll try to get some video or some audio or something of those conversations this year.
Last time we had an interaction with them, we found out that my wife is a whore.
Okay.
And that I knew the Bible better than the guy who I was arguing with, which is, you know, it's always nice.
Neither of those things is necessarily a negative, right?
No, and telling me that something is sin is wholly unimpressive. I can't.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could possibly care any less about whether or not you think someone's sin or your Bible thinks something's sin.
Yeah.
Give me an explanation for why there's actually something wrong with it, or something needs to change, and then, you know, we can have that conversation.
Yeah. I'm also wearing mixed fibers today, so
Ooh.
Yeah.
She's a rebel, folks. Watch out. So you had something you wanted to talk about real quick before we get to calls, but I just want to remind people, all the lines are full. This is a live call-in program where we talk about what people believe and why. Occasionally it gets heated. We will try to avoid that whenever possible. But I'm going to make, on rare occasions, I will make my clear statement about interrupting. We have an incredibly awesome phone system here that we pay for so we can have 6 lines. We can't fix people's cell phones or their cell service. Sometimes things are going to get broken up. Sometimes there's going to be background noise. Sometimes there's going to be difficulty hearing each other. If we're interrupting, it's usually because we've learned from years of doing the show that if you make a 5-minute long argument and we disagree with the first thing or it hasn't been defined, we've wasted 5 minutes. So that's the case with that, but we will try to be fair to everybody who calls. And I will, because of one thing that happened last week, I will confer with the co-host before I actually hang up on someone, except in those cases where I am so furious that we have wasted time on a particular thing. Then I will reserve the right to. And Jen can reach over and just smack down too.
Yep.
Just so you know.
All right.
So what have you got?
So, as many of you may know, our Texas legislature had an item on the agenda this year. It was misnamed the privacy bill. It was not really about privacy. It was about restricting access of transgender children to bathrooms in public schools. Basically, it would have said that public schools can't allow transgender children to use the bathroom that matches their gender identity, that have to use the bathroom that matches what's on their birth certificate. There were some people in our Senate that, because that was the House bill, the people in the Senate, namely our Lieutenant Governor and some of his cronies, decided that didn't go far enough. They wanted to restrict the access of transgender people to public restrooms, such that you had to use the public restroom that matched what's on your birth certificate, not your gender identity. And that bill didn't get passed because the House wouldn't expand it, okay? So it died in the House. And so our Lieutenant Governor held some of the sunset legislation hostage because he couldn't get this bathroom bill passed. That sunset legislation is what authorizes the Texas Medical Board, among other things. So unless that sunset legislation is passed in a special session now, there's not going to be any agency that will license doctors in Texas. And of course, that won't have any negative effect on Texans, right? the fact that your doctor can't be properly licensed, or that there won't be a board that exercises any kind of oversight over doctors in Texas. So now they're going into special session. One of the things they have to pass is this sunset legislation to reauthorize the Texas Medical Board and some other things. And in order to kind of get the buy-in of some of the anti-trans people in the ledge, they've tacked on the bathroom bill. So that is coming up. The special session starts July 18th, and it will go for 30 days. And they've got 20 pieces of legislation that it's on the agenda. Now, I should also point out that one of the last pieces of legislation on that agenda, in fact, I think it's dead last, is the reauthorization of the task force that studies maternal mortality in Texas. I think I mentioned in the last show that Texas maternal mortality looks like that of a third world country right now. And what we're talking about here is women who die within 1 year of giving birth. And it's horrific in Texas. We've got a task force that is studying it. That's the only reason we know this is happening. Of course, if they let that expire, then we won't know this is happening anymore. So then I guess the conservatives won't actually have to do anything about it. So this is what's going on in Texas. We've got people who think that transgender kids should be subjected to a bathroom that does not match their gender identity. We've got a Texas ledge that doesn't care whether or not there's a licensing board for doctors in Texas, and a Texas ledge that doesn't care whether or not we even find out how many women are dying within a year of childbirth in Texas. Oh, and there's also another bill out there that will prevent spending public funds on abortion. So they're going to pass a law to ban something that's already illegal. Great use of taxpayer dollars, right? The thing I want to point out about this bathroom bill is that this bill is actually focused primarily on trans women, because if a trans man walks into a men's room, first of all, assigned male at birth people who decide to transition later on, once they start taking testosterone, they masculinize very quickly.
You mean assigned female?
Assigned female at birth. Once they take testosterone, they masculinize very quickly. So if they walk into a men's room, probably no one's even going to notice. The other thing is, if you walk up to a guy in a men's room, I don't know, I don't spend a lot of time in men's rooms, but if you walk up to a guy in a men's room and tell him, hey dude, show me your dick and prove you're a guy, I think you're probably going to either get your ass kicked or be arrested, because that's actually illegal. So I don't think that's happening a whole lot.
I've never been asked.
Yeah.
In my entire life in men's rooms, I've never been asked to, show my genitalia to someone.
Yeah. So this law is actually...
It's kind of disappointing. I mean, I wish it had happened at least once, Hey man, what you packing?
Yeah. But trans women are actually the target of this. Because, there's this specter of the creepy dude going into the women's room, presumably to assault women. And the only instances I'm aware of creepy dudes going in the women's room to assault women are some guy who decides that a woman looks a little too butch and he follows her into the restroom to confront her. That has happened a couple of times.
There's this fear-based, irrespective of what you personally think about gender, and you're probably wrong, because most people probably are. The very idea that you need to protect girls and women in the women's room from creepy guys sneaking in there dressed as women.
Yeah.
This has nothing to do with who gets to use the bathroom legally.
Right.
You could completely prohibit trans women from using the appropriate restroom, the women's room, and it doesn't keep a creepy dude from dressing up and going in there and still doing stuff.
Right.
Not that there's any indication that this sort of thing happens. It's really, I think that the crux of the fear is, hey, I can't tell the difference between a creepy dude who portrays himself as a woman and a trans woman. Yeah, that's kind of the point.
Yeah.
That you know, this idea that you know, you could tell by a look what somebody's gender is. The question that they don't seem to ask is, can you tell somebody's sexual preference? Can you tell if they are interested in children? Can you tell if they are interested in someone of the same gender or someone of an opposite? You can't tell any of that. Can you tell if they're a godless heathen? I mean, I guarantee you, if all atheists had to have like an A on their forehead, somebody would be trying to pass legislation to keep us out of all bathrooms. Give us a separate but equal bathroom.
Of course, yeah.
It's this fear of, I can't tell the difference. And you should consider the fact that you can't tell the difference, to recognize that maybe the differences you're trying to define aren't actually real and aren't worthy of concern.
Well, and the thing is, we had the same conversation with the same cast of characters back when we were talking about, you know, doing away with don't ask, don't tell. And there were people absolutely practically foaming at the mouth out there, claiming that the military was going to have 4 bathrooms now. Because you'd have to have one for the straight men and women, you know, one each for them, and then another set of bathrooms for the gay men and the lesbians. Because, of course, you haven't been showering and going to the bathroom, you know, in the same restroom with all these people all this time.
My wife and I use the same restroom at home.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, without getting like over, I've never run across anyone in a restroom doing their toilet-related business.
Yeah.
And gone, man, let's get it on
Yeah,
right
let's
now.
do it right here.
Can we, you know,
Yeah.
I'm sure that's somebody's thing. But I like the "You Can Pee Next to Me" shirts, and you know, let's using Stewie from Family Guy with the "Everybody Poops" song, and you know, to just point out that we're spending a lot of time and effort and sidelining important legislation. By the way, sunset legislation has nothing to do with the sun or global warming. It's about laws that are ending their term and we have to renew them and stuff like this.
Yeah.
We're preventing doctors from getting licensed. We're preventing people from getting health care, all because somebody's afraid that somebody might actually go in and pee in a stall that they don't seem to think they deserve. And we, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
There are aspects of this that are just baffling because the thing that you're afraid of, there's no reason to think it's real or it's a fear worth having.
Yeah.
There are big ass fears in the world that are serious, that we are dealing with on a regular basis, and if we can't solve the simple crap, we're screwed when it comes to the big stuff.
Yeah.
So let people go to the bathroom that they feel like going to the bathroom in.
Yep. And if you go into a public restroom and you're there for anything other than to relieve yourself, you're committing a crime.
Or wash your hands.
Or wash your hands, yes. You can wash your hands. But, I mean, if you're there pursuing someone, you know, sexually or whatever, you're committing a crime.
I wonder how, you know, my favorite thing is, if I could find a group of these, let's face it, primarily men, who are all worried about what's going on in the bathroom that they're not allowed in.
Yeah.
I'd just like to get them all, like, go to one of the conventions that they have and just stand in the bathroom by the hand dryer or the towels.
Yeah.
Just eyeing them up and down the whole time they're standing at the urinal, monitor when they go in, wink, smile, all the things that they're afraid of.
Yeah.
But, you know, I try not to be a douche when I can avoid it, but sometimes it might actually be worth it to see their reaction.